Joining us for a little bit is Mr. Tom Gresham, host of Gun Talk, heard weekly Sundays here on KEEL from 1 till 4. Mr. Tom, it's been a while. Thank you for taking time for us today.
You bet. Glad to help.
Let's start with, pertaining to Las Vegas, this bump stock thing. What is that? It is legal, but is it legal after you attach it to a semi-automatic weapon? Explain what the bump stock does and your thoughts.
Sure, absolutely. I'll just back up. 2.5 days ago, about this time in the morning, when everybody was saying full auto, full auto, full auto, I tweeted and said these were not full auto guns. And I explained what they were. And everybody goes, no, these are full auto. No, they're not. A bump stock gun is simply it is a replacement stock that has a spring in it and allows the gun to move forward and back by spring power. So when you fire the gun recoils backwards, and then the spring in the stock then forces it forward. If you learn how to manipulate it, you essentially, think of it this way, you hold your trigger finger in one place, pull the trigger, and then the gun bounces back and forth against the trigger finger, pulling the trigger each time and firing the gun. It is legal, and it does not convert a gun to full automatic. It's still a semi-automatic firearm.
Does that need to be legal, Tom? And why? Who needs that?
The old who needs it. The question presupposes that if you cannot justify a need, then I will take it away from you. Do we really want to go down that road, Erin?
No, because there's a lot of things I need that I don't want them taking it away from me.
You got it. It's the wrong question, but it is the question that people throw out. Why do you need a car that goes over the speed limit? We'll take them all away from you. That's the wrong question. The question is, has it ever been misused before? Not that I'm aware of. You got a crazy guy, or maybe a guy who is bent on an ISIS-style attack, or maybe it's a continuation of the murderous rampage of the left, a la Steve Scalise and let's kill all the Republicans. We don't know yet, and we'll know more in a few days. But right now, focusing on the hardware is just, I guess it's something we can do, but it's really a misplaced direction, I think.
Let me ask you this, Tom, because I'm fairly conservative, but on this issue, I have questions. And
Sure.
one question is a lot of people say the NRA controls Congress, and they're going to do whatever the NRA says, and that we can't do anything about it. That troubles me a little when I hear it, and we hear it all the time. I know you hear it. You're in that industry. Is that group that powerful?
Well, that group is you and me. That's all it is. It's a grassroots organization made of 5 million Americans that lobbies Congress just the way every other grassroots organization does. And as for controlling Congress, not exactly when the Democrats are in charge. We don't control anything. So all we can do is say, hey, guys, this is what we want, and we will vote according to this. I think that's the basis of the American Republic.
Mm-hmm.
Tom, I just saw, I got the TV on in here, and it's on CBS, and when they're not beating up on Trump, they're beating up on the NRA and proselytizing for gun control. And they just had a graphic up on the screen. Since Sandy Hook, there have been more than 1,000 mass shootings in America, and we need to do something. Is that a misleading number?
No, it's not misleading at all. It's a complete and total lie. It's simply not true.
Then why would they put that up? What number are they?
Wait, back up. I'll give you two things. One, if you really want to know what the facts are, there's a website, gunfacts.info, gunfacts.info. As to your why would they put that up, let's take a look at the vice president of CBS who just got fired for saying she has no sympathy for the victims because they're Republicans and they probably all voted for Trump. That's why CBS would put that up.
Let me ask you this, and this is I hate to ask you this because it makes me sound like I'm a flaming liberal, but let me go ahead and ask it. Are the folks who are so believe in our right to own guns, the gun lobby, etc., can they offer some suggestions? Can you offer something that maybe we could do that could help prevent this?
Okay, once again, I think the question is asked in a vacuum of not understanding what we already have done as gun owners. Over the last 20 years, as tens or hundreds of millions of guns have been sold, the murder rate has dropped by half. The accidental gunshot death rate is at the lowest point ever in the history of the United States that it's been kept, 100 years. The number of children accidentally killed with guns is at the lowest point in 100 years. Gun owners are already doing tons of stuff, but we don't get credit for it. Now, here's the other point. This week, 300 million guns were not used in crime by 100 million gun owners who own them. So to say, well, gee, why don't gun owners do something about that? I think, I'm looking at that and going, well, we've been doing a lot, and we are not the problem. You got either a crazy guy or a terrorist or maybe a domestic terrorist, and we are focusing on what? The hardware? Would we rather that he got a Ryder truck and had a higher body count like they did in Nice, France?
Tom, it's every time something like this happens and the cries for gun control begin, I always tell people, I say, always remember the people on the left that are screaming about gun control, their end goal is basically to turn the USA into Australia. Don't you agree with me?
Well, more so even England, where, of course, now you have an excellent chance of being knifed there, not so much of being shot. The violence.
Nobody's going to knife 59 people, from the 32nd floor and kill 59 people.
Erin, you need to Google up knife attacks. You'll find that there are a number of attacks where more than a dozen people have been killed.
Come on, Tom. Nothing like Vegas. Please don't go there. Come on.
I'm just telling you.
59 people are not going to be massacred by someone with a knife.
How about with a truck? You want to get rid of trucks?
I'm with you on that. I understand the bomb in the truck. I get that. Absolutely.
I'm just telling you that in England, the violent crime rate is twice that of the U.S., where they have gun control. Oh, but we don't even have to go that far. We can go to Chicago, where they have the ideal gun control that the Democrats want, and they're killing the equivalent of a Las Vegas shooting every day. Or at least every month. I'm sorry, every month in Chicago, they're killing 50 people.
Here's a stat that I saw that you can back me up on. Since the mid-1990s, there are 50% more guns in the USA today than there were in 1990, I think 1994 or 95. And yet the murder rate has fallen by 50%, right?
That is correct, according to the FBI.
Mm-hmm. But Tom, you do admit we need more help for mentally ill. We don't talk about this much. I know you're a huge believer.
I was just meeting with groups working on suicide prevention. We're working, silently. Gun owners and gun stores are working on identifying people who are suicidal, which accounts for 2/3 of the gunshot deaths in America. And gun stores are trying to identify people who might be suicidal and working with different groups. I mean, that's the kind of thing we do that we get absolutely no credit for, but we're out there doing this all the time.
Which is, by the way, I just want folks to be aware over the next few days, and I saw it last night, that you are going to see numbers about gunshot deaths in America. And what Tom just said, when you see these numbers as referred to as gun crimes, 2/3 of those are, in fact, suicides that they are lumping in with crime, right?
Exactly. And there's one other stat that just came out, and it's been the same for many years. The latest FBI figures came out. Of course, these AR-15s are rifles, right? So these are rifles. In the United States, every year, more people are killed with fists and feet than they are with rifles.
Interesting.
That's according to the FBI, not the NRA.
Your girls on
those are gun stuff.
Your girls on The View yesterday said, Tom, and I know what you're going to say when I ask you this. They said, "Why does someone need 43 of these guns?" Please answer that for Whoopi.
Well, first of all, once again, the why do you need is you're presupposing that there is a reason anybody should justify owning something that is legal to own. Why does Whoopi need a house that's more than 2,000 square feet? That's way too big, and I don't think you ought to be able to own that.
But her house doesn't kill people, should tell you.
And neither do my guns.
Well, this guy's 43 guns did.
No,
they didn't. He killed them.
Yeah,
he killed people with guns. Let's get the preposition makes all the difference. these people were not killed by guns. They were killed by a man with guns, and it is all the difference in the world. And to ignore that is to ignore what actually happened. I mean, as I say, 100 million gun owners that day did not kill anybody. My guns don't kill anybody, and I'll guarantee you that there are several hundred people listening to KEEL right now who own far more firearms than that.
Tom
You're
Gresham,
right.
Gun Talk, Sundays 1 till 4. What's coming up this weekend, real quick?
Well, gee, I guess we'll be talking about Las Vegas. And
Tom,
we'll
Tom.
have some information about that.
Tom, I can't thank you enough for always being so willing and open to answer my dumb questions. I appreciate it.
No, there are no dumb questions. I appreciate you throwing them out and let us address them. I would just tell everybody we're going to know more in the next few days. Don't get caught up on this, and don't ever buy into the why do you need. That is a trick question that traps you into trying to justify owning something that is legal and, oh, yeah, guaranteed through the Constitution.